The Jim and Terry Show coming to you from Boca Chica.
Boca Chica, Texas. And wow, that was a fabulous rocket launch there. And
10, 9, 8.
Oh,
7.
Terry and I were excited. Oh, we were excited. And from those of you who don't follow this sort of thing, the main thing is this monstrous rocket cleared the pad and went about 30 miles up and then had to be blown up because it wasn't working like it should. Well, it actually worked exactly like they wanted it to work. They had really little expectation that the rocket would do anything more than clear the tower. That's how SpaceX works. And then you figure it out, you build another one, find out what went wrong, and it goes into space. Then you build another one. So remember, it's SpaceX with this monstrous rocket. They want to probably launch 100 rockets like this before a human goes in it. Unbelievable mass. Don't forget, it's bigger than the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, just put a few engines under the Statue of Liberty and see what happens.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And we saw the concussion of it, wow.
Let's, we have liftoff. The Jim and Terry Show have liftoff, and we're celebrating what we just witnessed. 3 monitors on 3 different feeds, live streaming, headphones on, listening to the different, we'd mute one station and catch the SpaceX narration as we saw the countdown. And then it stalled about 30 seconds, they recounted.
Oh, yeah, around there, 30, 40 seconds. I thought it was the 40-second mark, but there was a 40-second check. So they checked, and then they held it.
Yes.
And then they just double-checked to make sure there was a couple of pressure issues. And apparently they can just up the pressure and go, okay, there it is. All the pressure's okay. Very complicated to launch a rocket. And this was the biggest rocket ever to be launched, the most engines ever to fire in a rocket, bigger than the Soviet Union when they launched their mother of a ship. More engines.
Unsuccessfully.
More engines, bigger than that. Those ships blew up 3 times, and Russia gave up trying to... Well, they gave up at that point trying to get anybody to the moon. No men to the moon.
If I'm not mistaken, already SpaceX is ahead of that?
Oh, yeah. It's now the biggest rocket ever to
lift.
To launch, to lift, to fly.
Unbelievable.
It flew. Biggest rocket ever. Twice as powerful as the Saturn V, which was unbelievable. Remember Walter Cronkite almost cried?
Yes.
He almost cried at the power of this rocket going into space. This is twice as powerful as the Saturn V.
Unbelievable. And this, we have to remind everybody, this is private enterprise.
Private, yeah. Well, no, the government gives them some money because, don't forget...
but government gives Ford and Chevrolet.
Oh, everybody.
So everybody gets a hand up from the government.
Well,
I
not
get
only
that.
that, it's not for nothing. SpaceX is developing the moon landing system. It's also developing a system to get all the hardware to the moon. I mean, Artemis on the SLS is just basically getting people there.
And we don't even need that, really.
Well, they're going to be obsolete. Starship can do absolutely everything. And that's the whole beauty of this ship and why it's important to let Elon Musk do it. It's going to advance space travel. I was telling people last Saturday who were totally against space travel for all the same reasons. All that money could go to the poor. And I understand that. And then I had to go through a few things to tell them what's been developed because of
space exploration,
like GPS, like heart pacers, Velcro, microwaves,
our
all
glass
of these
top stoves.
Yeah, all of that stuff is because of space programs having to develop a way to live in the harshest of environments. Yeah. So I forgot my train of thought, Terry.
Most meaningful moment. What got you? Because we were here. You were here about half an hour before the actual liftoff, and we grabbed our breakfast and ran down to the Hobbit Hole studio to catch this starting, and we saw the markers and we saw the flags go green.
Yeah.
What was the most exciting part for you?
The actual it starting to lift off.
When you saw it move.
When I saw it move, which seemed like an hour, and it wasn't, but again, 33 engines powering up to 90% full throttle. I forget the millions of pounds of pressure on the ship's loaded with 10,000 10,000 tons of fuel?
Something like that.
Yeah, like, can you, 10,000 tons of fuel. And when it first ignited, you go, boom, and you see the plume go out and they're going, rocket go, please, rocket go. And then eventually you saw it just looked like it was 1 mile an hour, right? And
it was slow motion.
It was so slow, and then it went, and then we could see the speed going up all the way to 2,000 and something miles an hour, and then it ran into some gimbaling problems. I think one of the engines blew and stopped it from gimbaling, so it just started circling.
So your most significant part of the launch was the liftoff, actually getting off. So it's in the air, nothing's holding it down, not even gravity's holding it down.
It is flying.
It is flying.
And that was important to me because being one who pays attention, I realized that that's all they really were banking on, hoping, putting all their hopes in that it would clear the tower. Because again, very complicated launch base, stage 0, very complicated, more than all the other rocket companies. It's a lot of the stuff that goes in rockets, some rockets, they leave on Earth because they don't need it once they're flying. So clearing that is a wonderful thing. Now we have to assess and see what kind of damage. You and me saw something fly through the air, hit the ground like it weighed 5 tons, right? Poof, into the ground.
We'll have to wait for all the video feedback. Yeah. The most exciting moment for me was watching MECO, main engine, cut off and seeing it not happen.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my, can we recover from this? And then to see that they didn't separate the two stages, and the two stages started to do a tango in air at 2,000 kilometers an hour, spinning.
And you and I have come to the conclusion, and we're no experts, they probably didn't cut the engines because they wanted to get the fuel burned off. And it looked like there was some venting going on at the same time, venting and fuel, because they were going to blow it up. But they already knew then and there, this is not going to make orbit.
So they blew it up in the air about 30 kilometers up and downrange. I don't know how far downrange into the...
Well over the ocean. I mean, it's
well
literally
over, the Gulf.
over a couple of kilometers in the ocean.
And that's why the Coast Guard checks to make sure there's nobody in their inflatable dinghy because there's debris falling down.
Oh, yeah. It'll be... it looked pretty small. Looked like it really annihilated it. But don't forget the size of this mother.
Yeah.
And so what you and me saw blow up, we go, oh, that's not all that bad. Would have been a real blast.
The size of a house coming down on top of you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the ship is so huge. I wish people could grasp it. I wish they could grasp our excitement. And the excitement of that sucker lifting off. Well, listen, you and me, we were cheering.
We were cheering. It was woohoo and all kinds of...
high fives and clicking of cups.
And clapping. I mean, once we saw the camera pan to the SpaceX crew and everybody clapping and celebrating that they hit all the flags, green, we're going. And the countdown went down to 30 seconds and reignited again from 30 seconds. The shouting in SpaceX was... that was us. Yeah, we were pointing them out and saying, we're with you, beard guy. We're with you.
Even though you're only 12 and you look maybe 13.
This is the space. But we were there. We joined in the excitement.
Well, you'll notice also when they terminated the flight, the applause and cheering. Because it was a success. This is how SpaceX does it. And the rest of the world doesn't understand that. But it was like they were trying to say, imagine if you got in a 747 and you had to fly from here to Vancouver. The plane lands and they got to disassemble the plane. They destroy the plane and they have to build another one before you come back, which takes 2 years. That's what SpaceX is trying to do with rocketry, where you don't throw the ship away. It comes back, you reload people, and it brings the price down. You don't need 15 ships unless you're going to 15 different cities, which is really, really successful. So he's trying to make space travel, and he'll do it. He's trying to make space travel the same as air travel. And don't forget, one of the plans of SpaceX is so that you and me can fly to China in 35 minutes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's part of his plan, that it can take a crew of people. I have no idea how many you could get in there. I know you can take 100 astronauts. It'll be able to do that when they do colonizing and stuff like that. They probably won't put 100 in each ship, but that's what it could take. But I mean, if you didn't have that much cargo and stuff, maybe it'd take 150 people.
So it's going to replace jet planes?
Well, if it's successful, it will, because you're going to have a lot of copiers too, which is good. That's what life's about.
Copiers?
Copiers, not photocopiers. People copying.
Oh, okay. Speaking of, China's already got their version of...
Yeah. And everybody else is looking at the plans. And this is one thing you got to give SpaceX credit for, Terry. They do not hide what they're doing.
No. They seem to be taking delight in getting people to places they've never been before.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
So it was a successful morning for me. I got here in time to watch it with you, and we had talked about wanting to do that.
Yeah.
Watch it together.
And we didn't. We didn't have to adjust our sets or anything. It was a regular Jim and Terry show on a regularly scheduled program day, and all of a sudden, it's got bonus value added.
That's right. And now you can hear the people leaving, the beaches of Boca Chica.
They're emptying.
Actually, the beach of Boca Chica has nobody on it. But just across the way where they got that new hotel, I think it's called a Margarita.
Is that where the crowd shot was?
Well, those guys, where those guys are broadcasting from. I'm pretty sure that the new hotel is giving them the rooms to mention them, because they've mentioned them before.
What's
They're
the
staying
island
at-
called? I was going to say Lab Padre Island, but
No,
I don't know what
no, it's not. As you're talking and filling
Okay, I'm filling in. We've got a little less than a minute, 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, well, that's okay. To me, the whole thing was coming together on a regularly scheduled Jim and Terry day on 4/20. We did it. We saw the launch of the world's largest rocket, and it set all kinds of records. And that's the Jim and Terry show, setting all
Port
kinds of
Isabel, I
records.
think. South Padre Island.
South Padre, not
Island.
Lab Padre.
South Padre Island.
South Padre. Here's to the boys in NASA spaceflight, SpaceX, and everybody who filmed and took time to celebrate the launch of the biggest rocket ever. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.